Good morning, or at least it's really early morning here. You may be watching this in the evening. Welcome to day 359. Coffee, because like I said, it's early morning here. I want to share a little bit from NTI Colossians, which we've just finished. And I want to share a little bit about NTI First Thessalonians, which we're going into. I want to give you a little bit of here's what you're going to see this week. So first, let me go back to NTI Colossians, starting with NTI Colossians chapter 3, verses 1 to 4. It says, the world is a dream that seemed to be what you thought you wanted. This is referring back to, of course, NTI Romans, where we saw this wish to experience something different from truth. And so the world is a dream that is an image that is showing us what something different from truth looks like. Of course, truth is still here. We still are truth, right? We still are consciousness. We still are awareness. We still are untouched by everything that happens in the world, even if the body is harmed. But the world is a dream. It's an image that answers that question. What would it be like if everything was different than it is? So the world is a dream that seemed to be what you thought you wanted. If you look at it in denial, meaning denial of the truth, if you look at it in denial, it can fool you for a little longer. For the world has in it a glimmer and a shine that may appeal to you in your forgetfulness, but nothing in the world can last. What it offers you is never eternal. So this means that we can find thrills in the world. You know, we can find things that excite us, stimulate our mind, give us pleasure, keep us interested. In fact, we can even be interested in a way that is angry, you know, be interested in a political cause, for example. So the world can keep us engaged, involved with it. It has that glimmer and that shine. But nothing in the world can keep us forever, keep our attention forever, because nothing in the world is forever, which means if we're kind of addicted to interest in the world, addicted to the excitement, the stimulation, the involvement, each thing that we're excited by or involved in eventually kind of fades, and we have to go looking for that next thing. A Course in Miracles calls this seek, but do not find, right? So the ego is always involved. And then when involvement dies down, it's always looking for the next thing, the next involvement. NTI Colossians chapter 3, verses 5 to 11. Remember your true self, which is eternal. And you will know that you cannot be satisfied with glimmerings of the temporal. Remember your true self, which is eternal. And you will know with certainty that your focus cannot settle on something that shines for a little while. In other words, there's a peace and a contentment that is so deep within the knowledge of our true self that the excitement, the stimulation of the world does not compare. If you've read the teachings of Inner Ramana, it kind of refers to this as the circus and the meadow, right? The circus is the mind being involved with the world and all of that activity of the circus. And the meadow is just that piece of a, you know, like a beautiful sunshiny day with a really light breeze and a butterfly flying by every now and then, right? It's just this peace this contentment, this perfection. The meadow is the true self. The circus is the mind's involvement with the world. So remember your true self, which is eternal, and you will know that you cannot be satisfied with glimmerings of the temporal. You can't be satisfied with seek, but do not find. Remember your true self, which is eternal, and you will know with certainty that your focus cannot settle on something that shines for a little while. Verses 12 to 14 says, therefore, remember who you are. Although you are not fully aware, the little that you have is enough to carry you very far. Focus on your lessons and learn to change your mind. So this is saying start wherever you are in your current realization of your true self. Just start right there, and continue to focus on yourself, your true self. Also continue to notice the obstacles to being aware of your true self and continue to let those go. And this is going to take you very far into that permanent satisfaction. A Course in Miracles says, God's will for you is perfect happiness. That's that permanent satisfaction of knowing the true self. Permanent contentment, permanent peace, permanent knowing that all is well. I'm going to shift over to NTI Colossians chapter 4. It looks like I'm in verses 10 to 15, starting with sentence 5. Remain detached from the thoughts that you find, yet fully observant. The heart bids you to remember that the mind receives all kinds of thoughts, right? The heart bids you to remember that the mind receives thoughts of all kinds. It is your habit to accept, meaning believe, whatever the mind receives. Now you're being asked to learn discernment. Notice what is received. Notice the thoughts that come into the mind. But realize you need not keep it just because you received it. Receiving it does not mean you must keep it. Give greetings to the heart by practicing discernment with the heart. Let its desire, which is to know the true self, let its desire be the judge or the discerner, right? Let its desire be the judge of the thoughts you will keep and the thoughts you will let go. Remember this, the desire of the heart is only this, for this is the only desire it would place on the flow of creation that is you. Know thyself. Be willing to know thyself without distraction. So again, the mind being involved in the world, the circus, that keeps us forgetting our true self. And as a result, we don't know the contentment, the peace, the fulfillment, the all is wellness that is the nature of the true self. Instead, it's like we're on a roller coaster ride of emotions, both ups, highs, and downs, lows. And what causes that roller coaster ride of emotions is believing the thoughts that we receive from consciousness. And so what we're really going to do is we're going to start looking at our thoughts. And of course, we've been doing this already, so we're just going to be doing it some more. Looking at our thoughts and discerning, is this thought helping me to know myself? Or is this thought a distraction, involvement in the world? And we're going to learn to let go of the thoughts that are distraction, involvement in the world. And we're going to learn to stay with and focus on the thoughts that are helping us to know our true self. And NTI 1 Thessalonians is going to teach us a trick that will help us to do this. I'm going to start looking ahead a little bit now. NTI 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 1 says, in peace, I come to guide you, meaning, of course, the voice of the true self, which we could call Holy Spirit, inner spiritual intuition, right? In peace, I come to guide you. Through peace, it is I that you shall know. And I'm going to skip down into the middle of verses 2-3. It says, this is why you shall know me through peace. It is because I am that which is known as the peace of the heart, which cannot be taken away. I, the Holy Spirit, or the inner spiritual wisdom, am peace. I am peace. That is the nature of the Holy Spirit, or inner spiritual wisdom. And in fact, on down in verse 4, it says, come to me in order to know that which you are. Come to me, peace, in order to know that which you are, peace. I remember one day I was meditating at a friend's house in Massachusetts, and I was attempting to get down to the stillness. You know, the mind has all of this chatter, 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 thought, 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 right? And I wanted to get down to the stillness. And as I was meditating, at some point I realized I am the stillness. I don't have to get down to the stillness. I am the stillness. You know, the chattering thoughts are happening within the stillness. The stillness is permitting the chatter. That stillness is synonymous with peace. I am peace. That's what I am. Everything happens within the peace that I am. And so this is saying, you'll know your inner spiritual wisdom through peace. Your inner spiritual wisdom is peace. And as you come to know your inner spiritual wisdom, you're coming to know yourself. Peace. Peace is what you are. We could also say stillness is what you are. Spaciousness is what you are. Openness is what you are, right? These are the characteristics of the true self. NTI 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, towards the end of the chapter says, therefore, to know peace in any moment is to know yourself within your heart. To know that contentment, that causeless contentment. You know, like you may have known it sometimes while just sitting on the back porch, or sitting on the beach, or taking a walk through a high mountain meadow, or just sitting petting your dog or your cat, right? I mean, there are these times when we're not really doing anything. We're not really stimulated by the world in that moment. We're not involved in the world in that moment. And yet there's just this peace, this contentment. That's our true self. You know, when we're not involved in the world, our true nature shines. One example that I sometimes use is, imagine you have this beautiful summer peach. Here in Colorado, we have these peaches called, I think they're Palisade peaches or something. They come from a particular area in Colorado, and everybody just goes on and on about these peaches, right? So imagine you have this beautiful Palisade peach and you bite into it. And as you bite into it, you know, the juices start kind of flowing down your chin, and it's a warm, sunny day, and it's just so juicy and so delicious, you just stop. Everything just stops. And in that moment, there's just this contentment. Now, we tend to project the contentment onto the peach, and we say the Palisade peach made me happy, and then we want more Palisade peaches, right? But what really happened is, for a moment, in that moment, we stopped, and we were just here in this moment, not involved, not thinking, not outward going, really. And our true nature shined. because it wasn't covered up by the world. It wasn't covered up by the dream of what if everything was different than it is. So that shine is what we are. That perfection is what we are. So to know peace in any moment is to know yourself within your heart. And then NTI 1 Thessalonians says, take care to be grateful for every moment of peace that comes to greet you. And it is moments of peace that you shall continue to know. We've already seen through the 500 days that things expand through gratitude. Gratitude helps things to expand. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to be paying attention to noticing when we feel peace, just that perfect contentment. And it's not a high, it's not a low, just perfect, all is wellness, contentment. And when we do feel that, we're going to feel gratitude. And we're not going to get into judging. Was this causeless contentment, or was I happy because I'm petting my dog right now, right? We're not even going to worry about that. We're just looking for that contentment, just looking for that peace and feeling gratitude for it. NTI 1 Thessalonians chapter 2 says, it is peace that leads you to recognition of truth. And it is lack of peace that reminds you that you are not following your way, which means our way is paying attention to ourselves. Lack of peace means we're not paying attention to ourselves. We've left the meadow. We've gone back into the circus. We've gone back into being involved in the world. The thinking mind is very active, very engaged, right? So lack of peace, not feeling peace, means I'm involved in the world. Peace means I've pulled back and I'm resting in the meadow of my true self. It helps us to understand peace. It says peace is gentle gratitude. You know, that's what I would call happiness just for being, right? It's a gentle gratitude. It's not even something that we would say, oh, I'm grateful for, right? It's not that big. It's this very gentle gratitude, just happiness with being. Peace is love for all that is. What that really means is when we're feeling peace in that moment, we're not judging. If I was judging the Palisade peach, right? It's too big, it's too small, it's not juicy enough, I'm not going to know peace. When the judgment stops, that is love. When the judgment stops, that is love. And so peace is non-judgment. Peace is being with what is as it is. In total acceptance, which is love. So peace is gentle gratitude. Peace is love for all that is. Some other terms that it uses to help us recognize peace is ease, right? There's no struggle in that moment. Ease. Acceptance, right? Again, no judgment. Trust, and I would call that no fear. There's just this all is well feeling in peace, right? There's no fear in peace. There's no worry in peace. Just all is well. So peace is gentle gratitude. Peace is love for all that is. It's ease, acceptance, trust. And again, I often use the word contentment. And NTI 1 Thessalonians chapter 3 says, lack of peace in any measure is an opportunity to be healed. So when we aren't feeling peace, it's because there's something that's going on in our mind that's involved in the world. And this is an opportunity to look and see what thoughts are blocking my natural peace. Lack of peace in any measure is an opportunity to be healed. It's an opportunity for discernment. It's an opportunity to see what I am believing and then questioning, is this worth lack of peace? Can I be the superconductor and let this go so that I return to peace? Or do I want to stay on this, chewing on this like a dog with a bone, right? Is it that important to me? Discernment. NTI 1 Thessalonians chapter 4 refers to sin. And I'm sure many of you have heard that sin is actually an archery word, which really means missing the mark. So if we take the guilt out of it, sin just means missing the mark or being mistaken. Sin is really being mistaken about what you are. Sin is being mistaken about truth. So you think the world is truth. You think you're a person in a world, right? It says the belief in sin can also be called lack of peace. For it is this belief that causes the stab that interrupts your peace. So again, when I get involved in thinking I'm a person, I get involved in thinking the world is real, that perfect contentment that comes from my true self is covered up in this involvement. Sin leads you to feel guilty or fearful and leads you to believe that there are circumstances you must control for your own safety and happiness. And our true self, there's this all is well. I am untouched by the world. All is well, always. So there's this perfect safety. But in sin and believing I'm a person in a world, there isn't perfect safety. Things have to be a certain way for me to be safe. I have to have enough money. I have to have, a healthy body. I have to have a perfect relationship because we even perceive not being loved as being unsafe. Also, sin says that I need to control circumstances in order to be happy. In truth, happiness is just what I am. Happiness and peace are synonymous. But in the belief that I'm a person in a world, I need things to be a certain way or I am not happy. And that covers up my perfect happiness that always is because it's what I am. Sin tells you that an outcome must go your way or you will surely suffer. In this way, sin is a complete disassociation from who you are. Sin is forgetfulness, and in your forgetfulness, you feel the loss of everything that you are. So it's involvement in the world, as if the world is true and I am a body, mind, a person in the world. To wrest yourself from the belief in sin, you must return your mind to who you are. Therefore, I urge you, stay in tune with your peace, because that's who you are, what you are. Whenever it is interrupted, know it is interrupted by the belief in sin. I am a person in the world. Know that sin is only forgetfulness. It's not recognizing what I really am. And seek to remember who you are. Return my mind to what is true. Rest in confidence and let the effects of sin pass through your mind in peace. Become the superconductor with whatever involvement is going on, right? And just let that move right through the superconductor wire. I think that's all I have that I wanted to cover in advance. So this week, again, we're going to be looking for that peace, looking for that contentment, looking for that all is wellness, whenever and however it shows up, and feeling grateful for it. We're also going to look for when we're not feeling that peace, and we're going to watch and say, how am I involved? What's here now that's blocking this peace? And we're going to become the superconductor and let that just pass right on through so that we can return to peace. You're also going to watch a Leo video. It's about half an hour long at the end of the week, which is going to be re-emphasizing these same lessons. The name of that is What is Happiness? And in this way, happiness and peace are synonymous. So it's going to be really emphasizing everything that I've said today and everything that's taught in NTI 1 Thessalonians. At the very end of the week, you'll start NTI 2 Thessalonians, because 1 Thessalonians is a very small book, but I'll talk about NTI 2 Thessalonians next week. So enjoy your week, watch for peace. And then when there isn't peace, don't judge yourself. Just look, what thoughts am I involved in now? How am I involved with the world and the idea of person now? So that there's this obstacle to peace here, blocking the peace that I am, the peace that I always am. And you might even notice that all of that is happening within the peace that you are. The peace is permitting that because the peace is always here. All right. I will see you next week. Have a good week. Bye.